Well, it's the last day to get your voter registration updated for upcoming Oklahoma elections. We'll have those details straight ahead. And back to school shopping is getting started, and Arkansas's tax-free weekend is here all the way through Sunday night. We'll have a breakdown of what is and isn't eligible. For your 5 News at noon, I'm Claire Everbach here with meteorologist Danny Cassidy.
Hello.
It's the last day of July.
Yes.
But summer is still certainly here.
Yes, it's still certainly here, and we're going to get a little bit of a break from the heat and humidity for tomorrow. Don't worry, for the start of August. But yeah, and it'll be perfect weather for tax-free weekend, which you had a blast this morning shopping a little bit.
I had a little bit too much fun, and I didn't get to actually keep any of the items that I used this morning, but you already know where I'm going right after this.
Oh, exactly.
Yeah.
But yeah, as you're heading out this week, it'll be nice. But today, again, got to get through that heat. So we'll show you what's going on this morning and weather impact alert for the extreme heat. Those heat advisories and extreme heat warnings in effect. Now, it was a little bit cooler for a time in northwest Arkansas with a little bit of shower running through, but now we get the blue skies opening up and things will quickly heat up later this afternoon. More cloud cover in the river valley due to that kind of very light rain moving through. But it's humid no matter where you are. Dew points in the mid to upper 70s across the region. And with that high humidity and temperatures in the 80s and low 90s, those feels like you're heating the seas in the upper 90s and low triple digits in the river valley. Mid 90s for much of northwest Arkansas, only Eureka Springs at 88. It's going to get even a little bit hotter later this afternoon. There's that rain, but it's falling apart. So those in the river valley, maybe a very light shower at best for the rest of the afternoon. Before this evening, we'll see storms start to develop from the northwest to the southeast. And as they move through, we're going to see maybe some stronger thunderstorms with gusty winds and heavy rain. The bigger story later this evening is going to be the cool air moving in for this weekend. So we'll talk about this rain timeline and that weekend forecast coming up at about 12:15. Claire.
All right, Danny, thanks for that. Well, more than 20 defense motions were filed in the latest hearing of Stacy Lee Drake. He's the man accused of murdering 4 people in 2024, including 2 in Sequoyah County. This is new video of him being brought into court. The new motions filed in Sequoyah County asked the judge to keep a gag order in place and consider adding witnesses and evidence before trial. His attorneys requested his trial date be in February of 2027. Drake is accused of killing Tara Underwood and Taylor Sharp at LaFerry's Propane in Gans in 2024. He's also charged with murdering Philip Emerson in Canadian County, Oklahoma, which is near Oklahoma City. And Arkansas's library book law is back in effect after a federal appeals court reversed an earlier ruling. The federal appeals court says Arkansas can enforce parts of a 2023 law that restricts minors' access to materials that are considered harmful to children. The decision overturns a lower court ruling that had blocked those sections from taking effect. The law also allows criminal charges against librarians or booksellers who are knowingly providing those materials to minors. Fayetteville Public Library's executive director says this will cause problems for many libraries. With inventories of their size, it will take significant time and staff to review.
This is deeply troubling in regards to its impact on our First Amendment rights and our access to the free marketplace of ideas. You know, it's a setback, but there's further action that we can take. The other side of that is that the further we press this issue, it does cost money. So attorneys' fees, already we've spent close to $500,000 collectively of all the plaintiffs and this. And so how much further do we want to take it with the risk that at the end of the day, we still may wind up on the losing side?
Arkansas libraries have 14 days to file an appeal. If they decide not to pursue legal action, they would only have a few weeks before the law goes into effect. Proposed ballot measures in Arkansas have hit a major roadblock after falling short of the state's signature requirement. Arkansas Secretary of State says a Protect AR Rights ballot measure amendment had a flaw on its signature forms that forced him to toss out every petition. He also said the petitions did not meet the state law legal required amount of valid signatures needed to move forward.
But I think what's really important to remember is that it's really a rule of law issue. When the laws are written, when they're followed equally, and when you can see what they are, that means we have order in our society, and that allows growth and human flourishing and things we really care about. And that's what we want to make sure happens.
Protect AR Rights is consulting with their legal team to determine next steps. In a quote, the Secretary of State's letter underscores exactly why this fight matters. Well, if you're planning to vote in Oklahoma's August election, today is the deadline to make sure that you're registered. This applies to anyone wanting to register or vote or update their voter registration. The August 25th election includes several runoff primary races, 2 statewide questions, and in some areas, nonpartisan local elections. Registration applications must be submitted or postmarked by the end of the day to be eligible to vote at the end of next month. One of Northwest Arkansas's busiest intersections could be getting a major makeover, and the Arkansas Department of Transportation wants to know what residents think. RDOT is asking for public input on proposed improvements to the Highway 412 and I-49 interchange in Springdale. The project would widen parts of the highway, add turn lanes, extend the I-49 southbound off-ramp, and make improvements to several nearby intersections. It's estimated to cost about $11.5 million and would take about 2.5 years once work begins in 2029. RDOT says the goal is to improve traffic flow and make the area safer for both drivers and pedestrians.
This intersection, 412, is getting very congested. And no one likes that afternoon, slow, getting caught in everything. There's a lot of lights. Businesses don't like that because if you don't like driving and getting caught in traffic, you may not go to that business.
Parker added that getting there quicker and safer could only be beneficial to everyone. People can still submit comments on the proposed design through August 14th. If getting around Fayetteville by bus is part of your daily routine, you'll want to know about a change that's starting tomorrow. Fayetteville is expanding bus services on some of its busiest routes after investing $500,000 in transit improvements. The city says riders will see buses arriving more often on frequent routes, making it easier to get around without as long of a wait. City leaders say it's part of a larger effort to improve public transit, with more upgrades planned in the upcoming months. If tempers flare on the field this season, the consequences just got a lot bigger. The Arkansas Activities Association is rolling out several new rules before fall sports kick off. Tanya Modernzinski explains.
The countdown to the Friday Night Blitz is on. But before athletes step onto the field and fans fill the bleachers, some of the rules they play under are changing. One of the biggest changes focuses on fighting at sporting events.
That fighting has no place in education-based athletics, and no matter what happens, fighting cannot be in our game.
After a viral fight involving England high schools sparked conversations about sportsmanship, Bobby Swafford with the Arkansas Activities Association says the board approved tougher consequences for athletes who fight.
And so now if you're kicked out of a game for fighting, you're going to sit out the next 2 games. If you're kicked out a second time for fighting, you're going to be suspended for 4 games. And I think this is a stiff message from our schools saying, hey, this is no longer going to be tolerated.
The AAA also changed eligibility rules for student athletes, creating a clearer timeline once a student enters 7th grade. They have a total of 6 years of eligibility.
So if you get held back for whatever reason and you repeat one of those years, you're not going to be eligible that second year.
Another proposal would have changed how football classifications are determined. It would have allowed struggling programs over multiple years to move down a classification, but it didn't pass.
Our member schools voted to not pass this because they think it's not fair if you're a 5A school to be playing a 4A competition.
The other proposal did not pass this year. Any member school can submit one, and even failed proposals can return for reconsideration in the future. Well, the time has finally arrived. Tax-free weekend in Arkansas officially starts tomorrow. We're going to show you a list of all the items that will be tax-free this Saturday and Sunday, including clothes and shoes under $100 per item, electronic devices, school and art supplies, and instructional materials. The Arkansas Department of Finance says the weekend gives families a chance to save while also encouraging people to shop at local businesses.
I guarantee you, as Arkansans, if you look at that list, there's something on there that would interest you. It is millions and millions of dollars that are remaining in the pockets of Arkansans versus being paid to the state. So we're losing out on a lot of money, but we're proud to do it because it means they're saving.
And you don't have to go in person to shop. Online purchases also qualify as long as they're shipped to an Arkansas address. And if you're still in need of a little help securing those back to school supplies on top of tax-free weekend, there are a couple events happening this weekend. First United Methodist Church Family Life Center is hosting an event tomorrow from 9 a.m. to 12 p.m. Families can get free backpacks and school supplies, along with eye exams, physicals, haircuts, and shoe vouchers. Kids must be present. Also tomorrow in Fort Smith, the Convention Center will be giving out school supplies directly to students. That event starts at 9 a.m. The Samaritan Community Center's Backpacks for Kids event is also set for tomorrow, with backpacks and school supplies going to 3,000 Northwest Arkansas students. Organizers say all of this year's tickets have already been claimed, but they're now asking the community to help make next year's giveaway even bigger. Donations of school supplies or money will help provide backpacks for students when the program returns in 2027. You can donate school supplies, volunteer, or contact the organization to get involved.